We're drawing them from the unemployed and the underemployed. The unemployment rate is 4%, and at the current rate of job growth, if sustained, and given all the fiscal stimulus in the economy, the deficit finance tax cuts and government spending increases, this will be sustained. Unemployment is going to go into the low threes. Underemployment, so if you throw in the folks that are part-timers who want more hours, or people who've stepped out of the workforce not looking for work and thus not counted as unemployed, but say they would want to take a job if they could find one, that's also declining and about as low as it gets in business cycles. So we're drawing from the unemployed and underemployed.
Mark, I'll note that there was a Wall Street Journal story, I believe this morning, that said some employers are lowering their standards, whereas once they asked for a college degree, certainly compared to the post-recession or the immediate post-recession period, the standards are somewhat lower. But what I think is interesting when you look at the trajectory of the numbers is it doesn't show any sign of weakening. There's no sign at all that we're reaching some cap or some constraint period. How far can it go? When you say unemployment can fall, are you talking low threes, high twos?
Yeah, I think we can go into the low threes. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think even 4% is sustainable in the long run. Wage and price pressures will develop, and you'll see businesses doing all kinds of things to try to gerrymander as many hours as they can get out of their workforce. So we can go into the low threes, but Steve, we've only been there twice in history. Once in World War II, the other time was in the Korean War when 10% of the workforce was overseas. So this is very rarefied territory, and it's not sustainable. At some point, there's a dark side to this, and that will be coming on the other side of the fiscal stimulus.
Mark, you said in the press release there was maybe an initial sign of the effects of tariffs in the hiring of large businesses. They're at 48,000. I didn't see it there. What are you looking at?
Oh, I was looking at a little bit more detail at the very high, for very, very large companies with, well over 1,000 employees. And there was a very unusual decline in employment. Now, I don't want to read too much into it. It's one data point. But if you were going to see the impact of the tariffs and the escalating trade war on the job market, it would probably show up there. So something we have to keep our eye on. It's also consistent. We run a survey off of our websites, and confidence of businesses, particularly large companies, has weakened considerably over the last 6 to 8 weeks, particularly with regard to expectations. So there are some data points coming together. Again, I don't want to read too much into it, but some data points coming together suggesting that the escalating trade war may be starting to have some impact on the job market.